Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. I'm here with the coach,
John Brent with the vet.
Ian Griffin.
All right, so we got sports today or what? What do you think?
You know what? I'm throwing that out the window today. We're going to go with the First Amendment. Let's talk about the First Amendment.
I get some politics.
Some politics.
Oh my goodness, this ought to be great. All right, well, what do you got?
So, the last couple months we've had the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And, you have freedom of speech, and we confuse that a little bit, maybe. I don't know if we do or don't, with some protesting, which is good. We can do that. We're allowed to do that. Rioting? I don't know.
Like rioting or rioting?
Rioting.
Oh, okay.
That's my deep East Texas language right
we
there
both
kicking
got
in.
that.
But rioting and looting. So what's acceptable, what's not acceptable? What do we think about that?
Wow.
Man, so, being in the military, we've made a commitment to protect the Constitution of the United States. That's who we swear allegiance to, is to ensure that people in America can sit there and enjoy all the benefits that's affiliated with the Constitution of the United States. That is most people think it's the Commander-in-Chief. The Commander-in-Chief is our boss who we support, but our job is to defend the Constitution of the United States, period. When I was in the military. But now I'm out, I can speak a little bit more than I did before because we are hand-tied a little bit on some things we can talk about. So the First Amendment, the freedom to be able to talk, speak, or the freedom of press, or the right to peacefully assemble. It doesn't say anything else.
Peacefully assemble.
Peacefully assemble. So
Okay.
what does that mean? Coach, what do you think that
Well,
means?
to complete it, I looked it up here while you were talking. The right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress or grievances. So peacefully, I don't think there's any doubt what that means. That means you can yell, you can scream, you can chant, whatever. But what is the difference between a peaceful protest, rioting, and looting? I think sometimes, depending on the side of a grievance that you're on or a narrative that you have, those lines get grayed too much when really they need to be separated. So if you're going to protest, a protest is a statement or an action that's expressing disapproval or an objection to something. That's it. You go out peacefully, hold your sign up, no justice, no peace, whatever it might be, and we're all should be for that. I've protested. I've made walks for people. I'll continue to do it if I feel like it. But when it gets to that line that you're talking about, it goes from being a protest that's protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution to being a crime.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
I will say, when it comes to the peaceful part, I think emotion can be in there. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when emotion overcomes the ability to manage your actions, and then we have a challenge. That's a challenge. But that's all laws, to be honest.
Absolutely.
That's why we have laws. And as I read some definitions of what a protest is, a statement or action expressing disapproval or objection to something. Which
Absolutely.
you just told us. But when I look at rioting, is a violent, got that little word violent, disturbance of the peace by a crowd.
Sure. And I think that's like, you take the ones that have been going on since the George Floyd murder, and I'll say it again, George Floyd was murdered.
He was.
That's my opinion. But the difference of when you take somebody going down the street, everybody's emotional about it. I was emotional about it. We had some friends of ours that had some conversations and tears were shed just speaking about it.
Yep.
I mean, we all know that, but once you go past that and you put a violent action into it of burning something or tearing something up or punching someone, then your protest actually kind of gets looked down on as not being something that everybody can get behind. I have not met one person. I have spoken to probably 200 people about the George Floyd thing. And I have not had one person get a butt. Every single person knew that was wrong.
Yeah.
Justice will be done in this case, and it will go forward. But what we cannot do is, there's no reason for the violence. We already know it's bad. Everybody knows it's bad.
Right.
So we have, as people and as a nation, we need to know the difference. If you want to protest something, man, show me the injustice and I want to join you. But when you start breaking stuff or stealing stuff or punching stuff, I'm out.
And I will go to the first part of the amendment a little bit, the freedom of speech. It's there for everyone. We may not like the speech. might not even agree with it, but that doesn't justify us having any physical actions or actions against somebody's property or vice versa. It kind of reminds me of this, is when we was a kid, it wasn't a golden rule, but it was a rule that we learned like in 2nd and 3rd and 4th grade, is we go outside and we get in a fight, and after you got in a fight, you went to the principal's office, and you got your butt spanked with a wooden paddle with holes in it. That happened. I know it happened to me.
Right.
I don't know about you. And then afterward, after you got your butt spanked, you got told this: sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Just remember that, sonny boy. Or you'll be back in here to get another one.
Exactly.
You know, and that's really, the adage is true, though, is that right there on freedom of speech. Let everybody speak. Argue with it. Have some dialogue.
Sure.
Get emotional, but don't get overboard with it, so you can still digest the information and go, maybe that's not what we don't see eye to eye on that. Or
Sure.
not.
And even looking at it a little differently, even if injustice is done, let's say an injustice is done, and there's been many of them in our country's history. Let's don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
That does not mean go out and burn something. That's not going to get the attention that you need. And when you go out and steal people's stuff, as we'll go into looting, you're stealing stuff that isn't yours. How is that seeing someone run out of a convenience store, or someone run out of a Target, not just now, but in any time, with
a vacuum
stolen
cleaner.
goods? How does that help the cause of a person that was murdered, or an injustice that was done in a Supreme Court ruling, or a president that you don't like being put into office? There's just as many people, America, you need to know this, that was just as upset when Barack Obama won. That's when Trump won. And when Trump won, when George W. Bush won, and Supreme Court had to come in at the end, there was anger, emotions, and all that. But how you have to handle yourself cannot be violent, cannot be tearing stuff up. That's not the way you're going to do things. Get to the polls. Get out in your community. Get out and do things if you don't like what's going on, and do it in a peaceful way and make changes.
Yeah, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Absolutely.
And you know, I saw a lot of feed about, hey, they're business owners, they got insurance. Insurance doesn't cover all those things. You know, I mean, it depends on the policy they have. And so these are people who worked all their lives, scraped all their nickels and pennies together to do a mom and pop business, and just got destroyed because we can't express ourselves accordingly to the law.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
And I've heard some politicians recently say, well, you know, people go out and steal bread or do this because they need to survive. There is food banks.
Oh, yeah.
There is charity organizations. Heck, you can go to churches around here. Every Tuesday in my neighborhood, there's a food bank that's open. People line up the streets for it. You can get help. If not, call somebody. Call a friend. Somebody can give you some bread. Don't tell me you have to steal. That's an excuse.
And I'll just say this. If we can drop bricks in the middle of a protest area, we can sure drop bread.
Yes, no doubt. Spend the money that you're spending to the organization that's dropping bricks, and spend that money and buy some bread.
Yeah, I think this is a good topic.
Absolutely.
I think it really is, and I think there's some challenges with it, but I think at the end of the day, emotion overrides people's sense to make good solid actions. Is the challenge we have. So.
Right. And, you know, going forward, we can look at some of the things that the government can and can't do when it comes to breaking up a non-peaceful protest. Should they get involved? Should they not? Should laws be okay to be broken? I don't think ever. No. But for some reason in the last few years, it seems to be an okay thing to break some laws if you feel justified.
Well, I will say this, is if the government doesn't get involved in that, it's the one thing we depend on the government to keep the safety of the people, then it'll be going from 2 wrongs don't make a right to somebody's going to defend themselves and their family.
Right.
And then we'll have a lot more blood on our hands when that happens.
Absolutely.
So, hey, I think this was a great topic today.
A great first political post. We need more. We want to hear from you. That's for sure. Yeah. Tell them how they can hear from us.
Stay tuned to us on Facebook, as well as on YouTube, and as well as on Spotify.
On YouTube, put some comments. Tell me some things that you liked or didn't like. Yep. Tell us some things you'd like for us to discuss. We're open.
All right. Coach.
Yes, to the vet.
All right. I think that concludes it today. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And stay tuned.
Yes.